This video is a continuation of a series where I recommend games that you should watch in their fullness. If you're a basketball superfan like me, then you don't just watch highlights from iconic moments, but rather you make your popcorn and you get on your comfy couch and watch full-length NBA games from years past, as if they're classic movies. In this series, I'm recommending games that are well known and that young NBA fans should watch. But I'm also suggesting games that are lesser known that have somehow slipped through the cracks of the mainstream memory. As always, I'll be providing links to these games in the pinned comment, so that all you'll have to do is click and you're immediately off to viewing. As always, let me know your suggestions in the comment section below. Now without further ado, let's get into it. If you're like me and consider yourself a Kobe fan, then it's always worth watching the Lakers versus the Suns in Game 6 of the 2010 Western Conference Finals. So I gotta be real with you guys. I don't remember a time where Kobe was being put in the GOAT conversation as much as he was after this performance. It makes sense as he had 4 championship rings, was the leader of the defending champions, and was on the verge of winning his 5th title, equaling him to the legendary Magic Johnson. What the Mamba did on this night was truly jaw-dropping to witness, as he completely took over the game, hitting an array of iconic shots that only he could hit. After this performance, everyone, including the TNT telecast crew, were talking about his standing against Michael Jordan. If you're someone who believes Kobe belongs in that GOAT conversation, then this game is a great one for you to enjoy. If you want to witness what is literally one of the greatest series in NBA history, then I would check out any game from the 2009 first round between the Bulls and the Celtics. The defending champion Celtics were trying to prove that they were still contenders, despite the fact that they had lost Kevin Garnett for the remainder of the season. On the other hand, the Bulls were a decent 7th-seeded team, and despite the fact that they were underdogs, they saw an opportunity to achieve a massive upset. What ensued was arguably the greatest playoff series in NBA history, from the perspective of purely competitive basketball. The suspense was basically non-stop, as 5 out of the 7 games in the series were decided by only 1 possession. Definitely check out this one for all the beautiful drama. One of my favorite players of all time is the former Boston Celtics star Rajon Rondo. Personally, I think many people have forgotten just how elite he was towards the end of their title contending years. For a small stretch of time, he was entering the conversation of the best point guards in the NBA. And a perfect game to watch for an example of that would be Game 2 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals between his Celtics and the Miami Heat. That was a close and thrilling contest throughout, and the only reason Boston was competitive in the first place is because of how Rondo controlled the game in a variety of ways. He's not typically referred to as an NBA legend, but this was certainly a legendary performance. Next up is Game 5 of the 1986 Western Conference Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets. To me, this game was the perfect summary of 80s basketball. You had highly powered squads who were jam-packed with superstar talent. The game was extremely physical and even had several fights involving star players, and it was all capped off with an absolutely thrilling finish. One of the reasons this contest stood out to me is because of all of the bad blood between the superstar players, and the way these guys fought without fear of suspension during crucial moments of the biggest game of the season is something you will never see in the modern NBA. Definitely worth a watch. Next up is a pair of Christmas Day games, which I personally believe are the 2 greatest Christmas games of all time. The first was between the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat in 2004. In order to understand how special this contest was, you need to understand the context of the situation leading up to the event. It was right after Shaq and Kobe's notorious split in 2004. At the time, there was such bad blood between the 2 superstars that pretty much everyone was well aware of their beef. Their first regular season match against one another was so highly anticipated that it even had greater viewership than many NBA Finals games. When the game actually started, it didn't fail to live up to the hype. Kobe and Shaq had several chippy moments. The Mamba got ridiculously hot from the perimeter, and it all ended up coming down to the game's final shot. If you've seen this game before, then it's definitely worth a rewatch. But if you've never seen it before, then it's an absolute must-watch. The second Christmas Day game was an NBA championship rematch between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. This was a huge measuring stick game, as it was between the two best teams in the league. The Warriors were looking for revenge after they blew a 3-1 lead in the 2016 finals. But this time, instead of a streaky shooting Harrison Barnes, they had an elite Kevin Durant. The Cleveland crowd was electric, and what ensued was a holiday classic, with an ending that is impossible to forget. Next is Game 1 of the 1995 Eastern Conference Semis between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Back in the 90s, these two teams represented one of the fiercest rivalries in all of basketball. To this day, many people believe that Reggie Miller is a very overrated player, in the sense that he might not have the most accolades, and he doesn't have the most well-rounded stats. But one organization who knows very well that Miller is in fact not overrated is the New York Knicks, and this game is one of the major reasons why. This contest was extremely close and suspenseful, and towards the end, Miller provided a clutch finish for the ages that every basketball fan should be familiar with. Next is one of the greatest solo battles that I have ever witnessed, which came in Game 6 of the 2001 Eastern Conference Finals between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Facing elimination, the Milwaukee Stadium was a raucous atmosphere, and the Bucks responded to that energy accordingly. Leading the way for them was their superstar sniper, Ray Allen, who was absolutely unconscious from three-point distance. But the answer was up to the challenge, as Allen Iverson put on his own monstrous performance, hitting insanely difficult shots, while dealing with all kinds of physical punishment. Both players scored north of 40 points, and if you consider yourself a fan of either of these Allens, then this is a great game to watch in order to witness them at the height of their powers. So what do you guys think? What is a game that someone absolutely has to watch if they consider themselves a big basketball fan? I look forward to hearing your picks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.